As I reported last night, after a bit of time off,
things are a bit rusty.
The touch and feel is not where I'd like it to be. So I'd like to go through a bit of that if possible.
Yeah.
Technically, as I said to you, I've been doing a bit of work, and it actually feels freer, you know, when I do that right arm drill. And just at the moment, I'm just not getting the same feeling when I've got both hands on the club.
Can you just talk us through that right arm drill? So this will be interesting for you to have a look at. So if you can just talk us through what you were mentioning earlier, Foz, about the feeling you get from that drill, and then compared to what you've been experiencing when you're playing.
It's a similar thing to, you know, low point and the butt moving. So when I've got it in my right hand there, it feels like the butt moves a little bit more, and I'm in control of the flight and the pace. By moving more, I mean it goes further back, further through. And when I've got both hands on, it just feels like I just lose connection a bit. And you've seen it before, it goes a little bit out and a little bit out that way. You know, I said to you, I'd like to get a lower flight going like that as well.
So just hold your finish, this is dead interesting. So notice where this club has released to. Right, so notice it's left of where Mark's going, so it's on the arc. Now normally, what Mark was talking about earlier, when he gets really steep, and sometimes trying to keep the club outside your hand and things like this, can create, this kind of finish.
Yeah, which is how it feels when my left hand's on. It feels like it goes out, back to the ball, out, which is crazy.
So just do that again, Mark, where you just pick it up on the outside, both hands. So there, and then it goes down, and then it goes like that.
Yeah.
So the problem is, we've got literally a split second where you've got the bounce and the loft and the leading edge, and then it's so steep and moving back up again, it's like you've got there's just no room for margin for error. What you just did then with your right hand is you released it, and then the club swings left, so the arc now finishes left with the body. So now it's, like you said earlier, you've got your body and the club working more together because you're letting this butt go. You're letting it release back to you.
With that right arm, it feels like the arc's longer, so I could almost collect the ball from there or there.
Yeah.
It's kind of how the feeling I get.
So instead of it doing this, and you've got like a very small window for striking, you've got the club coming down, and now it releases, and you've got a longer, lower flat spot, and it's working left on the arc. So it's still here, okay, which if we take that back now, because obviously Foz has got real good control over what he's doing, everything's moving together, but if we bring that back here, look where we are, it's kind of not allowing him to release and bring that club left. Now this will be quite different, because when you extend that right arm, you'll get this flexion with your right wrist, so your club's wanting to do this, but what this is doing, because of the way Foz is releasing it, it's keeping the loft on it. What he's not doing, and this is what a lot of good players do, is they're not rotating it like this. So what we need to do is we need to let that left wrist there, we need to let that hinge back more on itself when you swing, and the club will work left. Different feel?
Yeah.
So by letting that left wrist just hinge back, you get that shallow release, and look at the club, it just works on its arc, and you're keeping the loft on the face because you're not letting that rotate. So you're not now losing the loft and the bounce. This is all right for a full swing because we're going to be lagging, okay? But with a shot like this, Foz likes to play with loft, he likes less shaft lean, he likes to use the bounce, loft, needs to keep it on the face. So this release is exactly what he needs, but he just needs to let that go more. So maybe a few left-handed swings with that as well. Just see where the left hand goes without a ball.
Read your mind then. Before you spoke then, my first left hand would have been
holding off.
Yeah, it would. But obviously we react quite quick to whatever someone says.
And this is a really tricky drill when you're right-handed and you're not used to releasing, so but this is showing it up straight away. So even a player like Foz, top tour player,
hard work, that.
It's an unusual movement because it's not that recognisable with your left hand. So this is part of the movement map we need to explore. What's the left arm doing when he's swinging? So it's interesting when you said, oh, I could do the drill with my right side, it feels great. It's when I put both hands on it, suddenly it goes a little bit haywire, don't recognise it quite the same, so then do the left hand drills and get the same feeling. But what you need is reference points. So what Mark's got now, he's got a reference point for his release, because that's telling him everything he needs to know. So where the club finishes is representative of how you got the club there. So it's giving you an idea of that release pattern, because you've not rotated this, you've not lost your bounce and loft. How's that feel in comparison to, say, yesterday when you were playing?
Well, it's typical, and this is probably a good thing for everyone to hear. That is so different to what I thought I needed to do. That's why, you know, obviously when we were playing all the time, we were more in touch of things, but which is why I wanted to come and see you, really.
I think if we could just put you in a ropey place, it's got to accelerate this through the grain, and it's a tighter lie. So more down really, Mark, let that left shoulder lead. It wants to be well down and in front, and that's giving you the opportunity to just release, and that'll give you the shallow arc and the up to the left. Look at that.
Oh.
That's awesome, and that's the acid test. That is when you've got to test yourself with these lies. Feel good, that?
Sehr gut, danke.
Wunderbar. Bilingual round here.
It's interesting what you pointed out to me now, and I was picked up on it straight away. When I stand like that, I've got my weights more left, and this shoulder's lower at address as well. So I think what I'm doing is I'm feeling like that. I'm putting that on, and then going like that.
Yeah, spin there as well. That's a bit cleaner, but so leveling the shoulders off a little bit. And when you know your game like Mark does, so he already starts identifying things and starts thinking about how he can adapt to facilitate it with even more ease and more efficiency. So this is a good test.
See, oh, I don't mind that. I've caught that fat out of a divot, but the club's worked. If I'd have gone like that with that it'd be here.
So basically the shallowness of the arcs let you use the bounce and give you that forgiveness, so you still get a shot. Some shots you'll see these guys play, sometimes they're not always catching it perfect. I mean, they're very, very good, but there's the odd time when they catch it a bit.
Well, I've just done it there. I mean, I've caught,
like that.
You know, I've caught a 1/4 inch behind the ball there, but the bounce has stayed on the club, and it's gone to 12 foot rather than 2 foot this week.
And then also it's the next time you present it with that shot that's the problem. But also sometimes the guys will want to hit and bounce it a little bit off the ground.
Yeah, you can play that shot, yeah.
Yeah, there'll be certain times for that shot with different lies. The low point's in front of the ball, under the ground obviously, and you're releasing the golf club on the downward part of the arc, which again is kind of a bit counterintuitive, but it just means you've got all the bounce as you're going down. Tilt more with the shoulders. Yes, that's it.
Oh.
See, that's it's a much better delivery, that, isn't it? That now. That sound. It's got the back edge of the sole now working. Instead of back edge, it wasn't even getting presented. That's it, yeah. This is like spins, but
Oh, that just sounded incredible.
see that? Reminds me of how you used to pitch, to be honest.
Yeah, probably been putting stabilisers on a bit, and it's the worst thing I can do, really. So
Now
all
you
of a
get-
sudden I could use the 50 for the lower shot, playing it how I want.
That's so nice.
You're still going to get the same spin.
It's awesome. I love that fly, it's just nice and soft, isn't it? Look at that.
It's the sound of it.
It's awesome, isn't it?
Oh, did you see that spin?
Oh,
Oh,
Mr.
Foz.
Foster. Mr. Foster.
Oh. the
Just drop your club.
That
the Zen
was
mechanics work is done.
That was a standing ovation. That was doffed his cap. That's one of them. Well done, mate. Brilliant,
45 minutes, revolutionised.
good insight that or into tour players' kind of feels, and again they experience similar things to us kind of mere mortals, so it's all relevant. But the theme of that really was exploring patterns, and for Mark that's revisiting old patterns and expanding on them really, so developing that repertoire further, but going back to what he's kind of experienced, but not in a conventional kind of methodical deliberate way, thinking his way to try and create it, more just exploring different options and opportunities. Right, so let's move. Where do you want to go now?
I just want to do some real basic stuff, maybe.
Shall we go to that one, seeing as it's free?